Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis updated commodities, work our way through the dollar yields, precious metals, and commodities ETFs that I follow. I'll interject my financial opinions as we go through it. If you need help with anything, check out finding-value.com. That's where I dive deeper into all of these sectors and topics looking for potential investment opportunities. I'm not a real momentum guy. I look for things that are down and cheap. I buy them for a secular bull market that has tailwinds behind it. And that's kind of what I'm looking for. These big movements over periods of time of maybe 5 or 10 years, where you can make many, many fold increases, not a couple fold. I'm looking for 10 baggers, 20 baggers, and stuff like that. So if that's something that resonates with you, definitely check it out. We do have a discount coupon code discount that is available for savings on the monthly and the yearly membership. All right, let's dive in. Let's take a look, see what's going on today. Starting with the DXY where we normally start. Dollar's getting stronger. It's broken out of this falling wedge to the upside. We had support there from previous trading turns all through here. That's generally supportive in nature for a move higher. Now, this is going contrary to what maybe some people think, where the dollar's just going to weaken. But everything that I'm looking at and where we are today, we are strengthening. And that is coming from yields going up. So we look at the 2 year. The 2 year, it's up the past couple of days, and that's giving some strength there. But the 2 year, again, this is more correlated to the Federal Reserve. The Fed funds rate generally chases or moves with the 2 year yield. So they could bring this down, but that doesn't control the long end of the curve, which is the 10 year and the 30 year. We look at the 10 year is going up, and this looks pretty strong. We've got a nice good bullish engulfing here. That's your reversal candlestick of the downtrend ending and us going into an uptrend. So that looks good to go higher, not lower. And then we've got a larger pattern that we are going to try to break out of. And your downtrend is that guy right up there, coming down here. We break above that, we are probably going higher in interest rates. Or the 10 year. The 30 year is doing the same thing. We've got this nice little consolidation going on, and sometimes these like to break. Sometimes you get a full third hump. Sometimes you only come back part way on that third one before a little bit of rippy starts going on. And here we are ripping higher on the longer end of the curve. Now, is the dollar going to strengthen because yields are going up on the longer end of the curve? Or does the short end of the curve have more of an impact on the dollar? I don't know that question. That's a good question. But I would think that it's the comparison of kind of like the overall yield curve, or I should say the yield curve going up versus the yield curve of other people's going up or down. That's really what the DXY is. We could still easily have the DXY go up and your dollar collapse. It's just this is collapsing less than the other ones that are collapsing more. TYX TNX ratio, we are coming back up. That's going to be really good for gold and other precious metals. We're at a very low level, so we've come all the way down here. This is your big oil, just absolute boom there. Interest rates went up, all that stuff, the yield curve inverted. Now, if we uninvert, coming back up this way, precious metals love it. They love it. TLT bond prices heading lower because we had yields going up. Now, this is interesting. So we're up against a lot of resistance through here. And this is on the longer end of the curve. This is going to be interesting because if we start to go down, the bond market is like done on the long end of the curve, which means interest rates are going to continue higher. And what could drive this? Oil. Oil, inflation, that could drive it. Interest rates going up and oil prices are interconnected. And there's no doubt that they released the Strategic Petroleum Reserve to dampen the oil price, to dampen interest rate increases and inflation. The 2 and 10, this is uninversion going on. So the long end of the curve went up more than the short end, but the yield curve's coming back down, which is kind of a unique case um, because the 10-year went up about 1%, the 2-year was up only 0.14%, and that caused the curve to uninvert. Now, does that mean that we're going to get a crash if the curve uninverts with interest rates going on up? That's a great question. I don't know. Under these scenarios, the yield curve collapsed, 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 and collapsed every single time. But what if the yield curve collapses with the short end of the curve going down, which the Federal Reserve kind of controls to some degree, but the 10-year and the 30-year go way up? That's, it's a good question. It's a very dynamic thing. And I do think that some of these relationships are starting to break down to some degree. Um, we saw yields go up today and the dollar go up, and gold is ripping it. Gold generally doesn't go up under those market conditions. Another thing that I find really weird is we have all these big selling pressure days, and they all are interconnected and correlated kind of with huge movements kind of right after, the morning session where people are talking about manipulation. That manipulation usually occurs at a certain time because humans are, they're creatures of habit, and boom, 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 boom. But yet here we are still ripping higher. It's almost like they're trying to slow that move of gold down. But gold's looking fantastic, and it's doing it under increasing dollar, increasing interest rate condition. This is a really strong move, guys. It is looking good. Silver barely up. We had a real nice day here, nice big bullish engulfing a few trading sessions ago. Slowing down a little bit today, but I think this still looks fantastic for a big, big move higher. So I would stay long silver. Platinum up a little bit today. We're trying to break out of this resistance. We got a little bit of resistance tagging us here. We'll see if we can release from it and start working our way on up. I hope at some point we get through this downtrend line. Then it's party, it's game on, because that's the big boy pattern that we want to break for much, much, much higher prices. This also signals that we probably have an inflation, something's coming up inflationary. That's going to be real bad. Palladium also up 2.5% today. Looking pretty good. Nice big bullish engulfing today. So we're squeezing up between resistance, this guy, and support underneath us. We're squeezing between these two in here, boiling up. GDX up quite a bit today, 2.92%. Up on GDXJ 3%, and SILJ up 3.36. I like that we're getting these big green candlesticks. The buyers are coming out. It looks pretty dang good. And then that obviously translated into XAU to gold ratio going up too. And we are coming from just ridiculously low levels here, guys. There's a lot of opportunity to invest in some of these areas. I've already taken positions in it, and I've been sitting in it. I did it kind of back in this area here, because that's where the individual companies were bottoming. But this is still a great opportunity to be looking for potential entry points in the gold and silver mining companies. Crude oil up quite a bit today, 2.5%. And you know what we're doing? We're breaking out. I've heard a lot of people talk about this head and shoulders, some sort of shoulder head and this shoulder here, and that it was going to break lower. And I'm just like, guys, this isn't an end of trend move. It could happen, yes, but the way this looks right now, I'm in the bull camp, guys. I'm sorry. I think we're going higher. I think we are going to break out of this pattern here and get up here, and then we could sit and go sideways for a little bit before the big move. I view that this move here is analogous to this move here, where we're sitting on top of this consolidation, and that this general area is this general area there. Now, I'm not saying that it can't go down to, low 60s or something. It could dip. That's still on the table. But with the current price action breaking this downtrend line, this looks like it wants to go up. So there's my opinion on it in the short term. And I wouldn't get too wrapped up with other people's predictions of what they think may occur. Let's just wait and see what this thing does here. It looks good in my opinion. TTF gas down a little bit. The reversal was there, and then we've just kind of been leaking off slowly. Natural gas in America, completely different, going up 6.26%. Pretty big candlestick. We are above support. This is the support line I'm talking about. And everything looks really good. I would just stay long and don't worry too much. Our boy XOP, yeah, you know me, we're up about 1.5%. It looks like it's trying to bottom here. We did do a breakout. So this is your downtrend. So we broke out here, and this is your retest. What do I do on retests? I buy them. Correct. Just be a robot. Don't be emotional. Don't get shook by that pullback. But this looks good for a long position to start and go longer. There are a lot of opportunities in energy service and in oil and gas right at this moment. We've been talking about those. I talked about those opportunities on the midweek update that I released yesterday, and you guys know where I am buying. OIH, another one that looks pretty good. Nice little update today. I know we've got this kind of pullback from OPEC. OPEC said that they weren't going to increase production. They're going to leave it cut. And that did impact the tankers and the oil service companies to some degree. But I still think this is an okay looking deal here. We've got a low, a higher low, and a higher low potentially. Newcastle coal futures, slightly lower. And I do think that this could be a potential slingshot where we slingshot higher from it. Or we could look at it as a shoulder head and a potential shoulder. And maybe we reach all the way down to 130, which is roughly where we're at. Potential. We've got Sprout Frisbee Uranium Trust still in the big flag pattern going on there. If we zoom in, just a small down day today. Still looks good. Big buying pressure here. And then you could say that this is kind of like a flag pattern that's created there as well. It's a dream within a dream. So we've got uranium futures pricing moving sideways. Still looks okay. Holding on. We've got URA up 1.6%. It's trying to lift that tail end from this selling pressure day here on up. And we'll see if it is successful doing that. You're underneath resistance. Got to get back above it if you're a short-term trader wanting to go long. uranium down a little bit, or up 0.45% today. But still, we've got support underneath us, about 44. We still have downside momentum. We might tap that support zone. And then URNJ up a little bit, 1.21. Maybe we do something like that. We've got copper down slightly, still looks good, up, up, up. It's that stair-step pattern where you start to get small selling pressure all through here, and then the big up stair-step pattern. So that looks good. Continue higher. COPX, no movement out of it, but it's most likely going to follow copper. Iron ore up a little bit. Nice little flag pattern going on. I think we're going to go higher here in iron ore. And then the bigger pattern looks really, really good. Think of this as kind of like squeezing into a corner there, right here, and then a potential break. The reason I think it's going to break higher is because of, if you look at the green candlesticks here, you got big like impulse surges higher. And the impulse surges on the up movements are bigger than the downward declines. It takes more candlesticks to go down than the upward pressure move. So I'm biased to go up based off of that information. We also have higher lows that are coming up here as well. Aluminum right at resistance, still haven't broken out. Nickel, it is down a little bit today, and we're still trying to put that double bottom in, the booty bottom. So we've got a monster booty and then a mini booty inside the monster booty. So that's a lot of booty. Moo, up about 0.42% we got there. We're still above this resistance support area. Still looks good to go higher. Emerging markets up 0.41, and we're above support. Still looks good to go higher so long. A tailwind would be weaker yields, weaker dollar. But dollar's been strengthening and yields have been going up. So, and that they look like they could continue to do that. So this could go sideways for a little bit. Carry 0.52%, just small little candlesticks there, up, 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 is what I see for this. In a gigantic Livermore accumulation cylinder, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, up, 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 up. It's going to rip, and it'll probably be a launching pad. There it is. So there it is. So there's your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There it is. Start to draw it in here. We're at 0.7 there, and then we're coming on up, and it's going to break out. Generally, what drives that is a real estate boom. You get more bank lending. TAN down 0.67%. There we are. TAN doesn't make any money, though. A lot of these solar companies do not make money, so they need money flows to come into it. Lithium up 0.6%, and we are still grinding sideways here, which is bullish. So think of this as kind of like a big pattern, the big flagpole. Flag going up, and then we'll break to the upside. We've also broken out of the downtrend. So good, good, and better. REMX down 0.68%, not gaining that, not gaining momentum to the upside, getting some selling pressure still. But we have broken out of the downtrend line. Baltic Dry Index down 1%, momentum still down for the Baltic Dry Index in the short term. XHB down a little bit today, down 0.25. It's right at that support resistance area that we've been at before. We'll see if it holds. It's still bullish in my opinion. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candlesticks. Boom. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We've got 11 small guys coming back. That is a characteristic of a potential move higher. Russell's up 0.5%. Another flagging pattern going on to move on higher. S&P is up a little bit. And this has been like defying gravity here. It wants to yank it down, but somebody just keeps bringing this thing up and up and up. Liquidity coming into the market, perhaps. And then the NASDAQ up 1.77, breaking higher, looking pretty good at this moment. And that's after like a billion, I'll say, rising wedges. SMCI down 5.5%. I should probably stop talking about this, but I wouldn't touch it. It's got a ways to go. You get your big move higher, and then you pull back. This is your bull trap. Come all the way down, and then it's got to cycle through a whole bottoming process, Tony. NVIDIA up 3%. I'm surprised it continues to go up. Big selling pressure, back test, and we'll see if that heads down or if it will defy gravity and continue on up. Bitcoin ripping it up 4.3%. Looks really good to continue higher. Looks good to continue higher at this time. We've got Ethereum also up, which is sitting on top of this big flag, kind of the big flag pattern here. And that does look like it wants to go higher from a technical perspective. It looks good on this pullback and then a bullish engulfing day. Looks really good. And then MicroStrategy up 9%. We'll see if this is the basically a continuation pattern to go higher for MicroStrategy. So it looks pretty good. And then the VIX is down 4%. Nothing to worry about there. So that's what we've got for today, guys. Give me a thumb up for the content. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the website. Discount is a coupon code if you'd like to join. We do have a question and answer session coming up Sunday at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. 5 p.m. Mountain Time. Bring your questions. We are going to go over some stuff, diving into the fundamentals of a company, looking at risks in each sector. We can hit some of these guys for next session. So that's what I've got. We'll catch you next time. This is Finding Value.